It's pretty undeniable that My Hero Academia has gotten pretty big over the past few years. However, lurking in the shadow of its massive success is another series, a spin-off, that has proven to be absolutely remarkable, and I'd argue, even better than the main series itself. That is, My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
If you've been sleeping on this series, well, it's time to wake the hell up. Not only does this story explore a wide array of themes and world-building opportunities that the main series hasn't, it also includes some pretty important backstories and information that, and I cannot stress this enough, is vital for a main series reveal to have any hint of emotional impact.
But we'll talk about that at the end, so people who don't want spoilers for the anime can just go read Vigilantes for themselves in preparation.
I want to start off by saying that Vigilantes, while built on a similar premise as MHA, quickly diverts and turns itself into a reflection of the main series by tackling a lot of the themes that MHA does in the opposite light. And if you don't believe me, well, the covers of the first volumes of both series are literally a visual mirror of each other.
We can say that the basic setup for both series is thus.
A weak, All Might-obsessed boy wants nothing more than to become a hero and help people. He eventually meets a big, strong hero who both say a variant of "I'm here" as a catchphrase that will teach them how to become the hero they've always wanted to be. In Deku's case, he is completely powerless, and the hero he meets is All Might, who is basically Superman. The god and all-powerful hero looks upon this kid and does what Superman would do: recognize the heart and heroic nature in this kid and passes his power on to him. Deku is then pushed up into the world spotlight thanks to UA and will be touted as one of the next big heroes. On the other hand, as the name might imply, Vigilantes tells the tale of what if Deku met Batman instead. While the main character Koichi does have a quirk, it's a rather underwhelming ability that has led him to give up on ever becoming a real licensed hero. Instead, he simply slides around his neighborhood doing good deeds in an All Might hoodie. That is, until he meets Knuckle Duster, a quirkless powerhouse who operates in the shadows and has no qualms about leaving his foes bloodied and beaten. From there, our two main characters are led down two different paths of growth and heroism. While Deku is taught to keep strengthening his heart so that what he's been given will get stronger, Koichi is taught to train his mind and body to make the best of what he's got. Deku is consistently praised and put on a pedestal due to his circumstances and incredible power. Koichi is never given any public praise outside of his little neighborhood, but consistently gains the respect of the heroes he's always looked up to, even though he quickly learns he doesn't need it.
To me, Deku feels like just another chosen one. Sure, he gets stronger, and that's encouraging, but ultimately he was handed god-level powers that most of us will never get. For Koichi, you get much more of a sense that anybody could be just like him. Yeah, I've got one thing I'm kinda good at, but if I push myself and work hard on it, then I can make that one thing something powerful. It's a much more encouraging story to me. For Koichi, hard work and determination means getting the admiration of the heroes and acceptance of what he's always wanted to be. For Deku, it feels like, work hard enough at Daddy's office for a few years, and you can have that multi-million-dollar trust fund I promised you.
Meanwhile, when you look at the mentors, you can find even more mirrors. First of all, the loss of their quirks. When All Might lost One for All, he had to resign himself to being powerless and instead dedicate himself to teaching. But when it happened in Knuckle Duster, he doubled down, got incredibly ripped, and began fighting for justice at an objective disadvantage. When I compare him to Batman, I don't mean just in tone. Knuckle Duster is a mortal fighting amongst gods, and one that is so smart that he can hold his own regardless. Forced to leave the hero organization, he had to learn that fighting for justice doesn't have to come with a piece of paper saying that you can. While he can't fight the crazy strong villains that the main series handles, he's doing the work that heroes often overlook as beneath them, like trying to stop a drug ring.
Even All Might's famous catchphrase, "Watashi ga kita," is turned into "Ore ga iru." What was once a promise of safety and peace of mind is now a threat and words to fear. That is until one scene in particular, in which I believe that phrase carries more emotional weight than any time All Might has ever used his catchphrase. Vigilantes does much more than just mirror its predecessor, however. With more freedom, both narratively and content-wise, the series is able to explore way more ideas that help expand this world of heroes even more.
You'll get to see America's #1 hero, hear about how other countries handle quirk use and the hero industry, discuss the morality and reason for vigilantes in a world with legalized hero activity, and much, much more. Also, Naomasa Tsukauchi's hot and brilliant sister, Makoto Tsukauchi, is the one who enlightens you of all of this.
The world is easily the most fascinating part of MHA to me, and the main series just feels trapped at UA most of the time.
Some of the coolest arcs to me are the ones where you get to hang out with the various hero agencies on the streets and see what this world has to offer outside the walls of the school.
And that's exactly what Vigilantes does. You get to see the daily lives of people just trying to make it in a world that wants them to sit down, shut up, and just hope you don't die in a villain attack.
You see Koichi in college dealing with what to do after he graduates, trying to find a job, and balancing his life, but he decides he's had enough of that and becomes a vigilante.
Kinda like how when I read it, I was in college, now have a normal job, and am also trying to make a long-held dream a reality by making videos. Oh, and did I mention that it's a prequel series?
Taking place a good few years before MHA, you get to see a lot of characters' lives before they ended up at UA. You'll see how Aizawa was convinced to start teaching, Ida's older brother before Stain got to him, and get the backstories and setups to a lot of important events in the main series. But before I get to the spoilers, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. You know that part where the YouTuber says that X% of viewers aren't subscribed? Well, that's a lot of percent, so if you like what you see, why not subscribe? It would mean a whole lot to me and help me make that aforementioned dream a reality. Okay, enough shilling for right now. Back to the video.
And this is the part where I have to get into spoilers. If you're not caught up in the anime, now's your time to skip ahead. I'll have another spoiler warning before I spoil the manga, so if you want to watch until then and then jump ahead, just look down below for the timestamps to show you where to go.
Remember that crazy drug in Season 4 that makes someone's quirk way stronger but near unmanageable? Yeah, that's from Vigilantes. Fat gum? Vigilantes first. And of course there's a whole backstory for Aizawa, Present Mike, Midnight, and someone else, which before I spoil who it is, I will say is an
absolutely vital read to understand what is supposed to be a powerfully emotional twist that just is confusing if you haven't read Vigilantes. Alright, I'm about to say who it is, so if you're not caught up with the manga, now is the time to jump forward. Got it?
Okay, remember how they brought in Eraserhead and Present Mike to talk to Kurogiri because they discovered someone else was actually underneath all that smoke and it makes the two of them freak out and tear up, but you have no clue who the fuck it actually is supposed to be, and it just kind of comes off as confusing? Yeah, their whole backstory and friendship is established in Vigilantes.
A scene that made me tear up at the revelation was immediately followed by thoughts of, wait, most people aren't gonna know why this is so important.
I was then corrected that Aizawa does allude to it in the Class B training arc,
but it's so small and lost in obvious filler that I totally forgot about it. While you can partially understand the pain that they're feeling in the moment, when you read Vigilantes, you feel the pain with them.
Also, you get to see Endeavor being a cold-hearted bastard again, which is a great mirror to his attempted atonement in the main series.
In summary, Vigilantes offers a much more down-to-earth exploration of the MHA world that not only stands on its own, but, I think, above the main series. It takes the same themes of what it means to be a hero, what is the responsibility of one with power, and how do you become special in a world where everybody is, and explores them in more real-world situations with realistic characters that would put the characterization of most of the MHA cast to shame.
While you can like the MHA cast for who they are, they maintain that shonen intangibility where they're just not quite someone you could see a real person being anything like. On the other hand, the folks in Vigilantes are all folks you could easily see yourself sitting down and eating dinner with, as they're just your average Joes who decided to push towards their dreams, even if it makes them seem a little more out there than you and me.
There you have it. I really don't want to spoil much of what's going on in the manga's actual plot, but know that I think it's incredible and, again, better than the main series. It's supposedly getting an anime soon, which I don't really think you should wait for, as it'll likely be a while before that important Aizawa backstory gets adapted, and the main point of it will probably have already come into play in the main series. You can read the first 3 chapters for free on Viz Media's Shonen Jump site and app. And seriously, it's worth reading at least just to get to that backstory so that you can properly cry with the characters. And if you have read Vigilantes, tell me what you think down below. And if you go read it, come back and tell me what you think. If you like the video, and why not consider subscribing? Don't forget you can also find me on Twitter and Twitch, where I stream on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And I hope you have a plus ultra day.